Here we go. We're back with another episode of Gear Gadget. First time we've had a guest on the show, so we welcome Dan Bayes.
How we doing?
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
Anything new? We're doing good.
Good, brother. Good.
So with that, if this is new to you guys, it's obviously new to Dan, so we have to explain the ground rules of the show. Cameron?
All right, rule number one. This is going to be a big rule for Dan because
It's going to be tough. Twice.
He broke it twice before the show. We cannot use the term game changer. It is a marketing just nightmare.
I was using it in a negative context now.
Okay.
Don't throw me under the bus.
Guys, if you're watching, Dan says the word game changer. We got to throw him out of here. Rule number two, if you like the episode, you like what we're doing here, give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Rule number three, we're not here to brand bash anyone, any company. We're just going to tell you what has worked for us and what hasn't worked for us. And with that, let's get into it.
I have a pretty unique product or piece of gear, and shout out to Byron Horton because he's the one that turned me on to this. This is a Grail plunger style water filter / water bottle. And basically what this allows me to do is I never have to worry about carrying water with me while I'm scouting in the big woods. I don't have to worry about stopping buying water. I can simply scoop water anywhere that there's a water source and use the filter, plunge it, and makes it drinkable. So when I first got this, I was a little leery, to be honest, because I wasn't sure. I'm in the big woods. Of course, I got a roll of toilet paper with me. Just you have to, right?
Essentials.
But I'm worried, okay, I scooped some water out of a creek and it's gonna screw my stomach up. So the first time I used it, I went high up on the ridge and tried to find the cleanest seep or water source I could because I didn't want to get it, along the road or down in the bottom where it's collecting more tannins and going through more silt and more dirt and everything else. So I scooped it up, drank 30 ounces, was good. So then I was like, all right, well let me test this a little bit. So I started to scoop dirtier and dirtier water throughout that weekend, and then yesterday I had this over in Northwest Pennsylvania, and there was a beaver dam and a little beaver pond along the side of the road, and it was pretty stagnant water. But yeah, scooped it up, ran the filter, took the swigs, and it was.
And you're fine today.
I am completely 100% fine. So this has a carbon activated water filter in the bottom of this, and it is claimed or marketed to purify and basically kill 99.9% of any bacteria. I think it even actually takes some of the tannins and silt out of it too, because some of the stuff I've ran through this and drank was pretty silty, pretty high tannin. You can see the color of the water running through leaves and stones and algae and stuff, and it's never tasted funny. So basically how this works is, this is your dirty water. We'll call it dirty water. So you never want to drink directly out of this because that'll screw you up. You scoop water out, and it has a little fill line right here, which is kind of hard to see, but you put your fill line in, and basically you set this on top. You leave the cap off so the air can escape, and basically you just do this. Just force that water up through that filter, and it's a little hard to do right now. It usually takes 10 seconds, but I'm really pushing on it.
Yeah,
When you're down on the ground, you just do that.
It's like a coffee press.
Yeah.
Kinda, but it's a plunger style filter. Filter is good for 350 uses, which will get me, a year. And one of the other reasons I bought this, not only for really whitetail scouting, but I'm headed west this fall, so this will be my my water purification system.
Yeah, see, that's where I think this piece is most useful. For me, I don't take a giant water bottle when I'm scouting. I have a bladder. So out west, though, where you're not going to pack in a bunch of water and you have to use natural sources. A lot of times that water is not the safest water. Like a lot of people tell you don't drink it. So they have those Sawyer filters that attach, and you have to like have a bunch of different pieces, and they're little, and you put it on the top, filter it out into something else. That's a one size fits all kind of deal there. So.
Yeah, it does like 32 ounces in about 10 seconds. So, you do that 3 or 4 times throughout the day, and you're drinking a gallon of water.
Is it heavy?
No, I'd say it's maybe a pound. Maybe not quite a pound. 12 ounces.
How much do you trust it currently?
Right now, I'm at 100% with it right now.
100% committed.
If I go pee in the toilet and we empty it out, will you drink it? Will you filter it and drink it?
Whew.
Yeah, I would.
Give us a thumbs up if you want to see Chad.
I would.
this
Yeah.
water.
I wouldn't be able to mentally.
Yeah, I would. I don't know that I would drink 30 ounces. How much do you got to pee?
I don't have to because I just went, but I seen Bear Grylls do it without any filter system, so I'd imagine you'd be fine.
Yeah, I would.
But I'd be ragging on you forever,
Oh,
telling
Drink
people.
my piss.
Yeah, I would. I know you would. But I would do it.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's conviction.
Yeah.
All right, so we obviously don't have any experience with it.
Yeah.
How many thumbs up do you need for that to actually happen on this video?
I'll do 10. Like, I don't need any. That's what I'm saying. Like this thing is legit as it comes.
Right on.
And when I bought it, it's kind of expensive. It was $100, and I thought $100 for a water bottle, that's a little crazy.
You gotta really want water.
But 350 times, like if I buy water. I drink a lot of water, anyways. If when I'm scouting, I stop and buy water. So say it's $1. Like I'm easily spending $100 a year on water.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd imagine you can easily justify that if you're going for like a weekend trip or even like a 5-day trip.
Yeah.
And not having to carry water with you. And
Yeah, that's it. You
yeah, I
find
mean,
it,
you just
drink
carry that one, and
Yeah.
as long as there's a water source, you're fine.
So the downside to this, 2 downsides. One, it's kind of costly, $100. And 2, it's a little top heavy for my scouting pack. So I run that KUIU 1850, and even the bigger Western pack that I have. The pockets that this slide in, like on your hip pouch, it hasn't fell out, but it's constantly in my mind. Like, okay, make sure this thing,
Yeah.
I don't want to lose it.
Could
So
you
it
just
is a little
attach
top
it by
heavy.
like a molly or something?
You could, yeah, or you get you could run a little piece of paracord or even a gear tie around the top, and it would be good. But that's so 2 downsides, which the one could be my pack too, just that pocket not being deep. But overall, absolutely, I'm gonna give it 9.5 out of 10. Like I'm
Whoa.
pretty high on this thing.
If you know Chad, that is like the highest possible score. There is no 10s.
Yeah,
Wow.
pretty high on it. So definitely a piece of gear for me.
All right.
Absolutely, I'd buy it again.
Dan, what do you think? What's your thoughts on it?
I don't know that it's for me personally. I generally, I don't do any overnight trips, not yet. If I were to, one day hopefully do some out west trips, I'd certainly be looking into that. But at this point in my, my hunting career, I don't think it's worth it for me.
That's fair. I mean, I don't have one, and I've seen them, so maybe that's kind of where I fall.
You want one?
I don't know if I. I mean, I don't.
I want one, but
I don't know if I do. I mean, I don't ever see. I don't know. I'd rather just like fill my bladder up with water before I go out in the woods. The bladder's 3 liters. I'm not going to go through more than 3 liters of water in a day. But in a time like, I don't know, even in Colorado, I didn't. I took a bladder and filled it up each day because I wasn't camping out there.
Yeah, you guys were in day trips.
Yeah, we were staying Airbnb. So you really have to be like hoofing it back in and spike camping for that to become like essential. And for $100, I mean, I'm not going to say it's a gadget. I think it's 100% gear, but I don't think it fits, like Dan said, I don't think it fits my necessities.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm with you on the fact that it's gear, though. That's not a gimmick. I mean,
There's definitely a use for it.
Yeah, the man said he would drink piss out of it. So I think that's
We might have to make
conviction
another
itself.
video on that.
It's gonna happen. If it's not on this, it'll be on an Instagram story or something. You're drinking
For sure.
piss. You're drinking Dan's piss.
Yes.
Okay,
Wow.
sure.
Wow. With that, Dan, why don't you take it away?
Okay, so what I brought was a gear, and what the problem I had was that I couldn't narrow it down to one thing. And I'll start off in saying for my entire hunting life, I've worn cheap Walmart or cheap hunting gear. I'm a bang for buck kind of person, so I wanted to go a little more high end this year, and it really did. It changed the
Oh!
He caught himself.
changed the atmosphere for me a good bit because it was only mental at that point. If I could physically stay out there, it was only mental for me. And I have no trouble sitting through, heavy rain. I have no trouble, especially if I know there's, when it lets off, that second that rain lets off, it's generally when,
That's a great
stuff happens. It's insane. It's amazing. So with that, we'll start with just the bases, okay? Everything that's next to skin is I got some merino wool socks. I don't necessarily think you have to buy, First Light was what I ended up going with, and I can't tell you what weight they are. I believe
These are heavy.
They look pretty heavy, yeah.
they are. They're a little bit. They're probably too warm for I'd say like, warm turkey season days. But in the mornings, I've had those on. I did last year, and they really do wonders. I don't need multiple socks. So then I went with a base layer. These are just the bottoms, but they're a 250 weight base layers. And like I said, I don't know that one brand's better than the other. I've heard great reviews about First Light, so that's what I went with for the base layer bottoms. And then so I'd have those next to skin, and then in the research I did, it said that the grid fleece pattern, I don't even know what this one's called.
Kiln.
It's a Klamath hoodie, and it has this real tight hood that goes tight to you, and you can still, like, what's very big to me is being able to hear out of it. This is only, I'll carry this in, I'll put it over top of a t-shirt or something when it's warm out, when it starts, say like mid-October, it starts getting like where it drops down to 60 degrees, and this takes me through the evening, on an evening sit. And it's light. I can curl that baby up and throw it in my bag. So then here's something, I'll tell you what, I did a lot of research on pants as well. And these had great reviews. They're the Wrangler ATG pants. They are real tight on me. I'm a big guy. My wife actually calls them my Gru pants. You ever seen Despicable Me, the movie?
No.
Gru is like, he's a real big-bodied upper dude, and he has like real skinny legs. Or you ever seen a bullfrog? You hold a bullfrog up where he has no ass. That's exactly what I look like with these on. They're my skinny jeans, my boner pants, I like to call them too.
But those things are awesome. Like I have a couple
They
pair for like $20 or $25 or something.
You can't
Like
beat them.
they are legit.
They are. They're cool. Like if you were to just put them on next to skin, they'll keep you cool. Like active wear, they dry real fast. With these base layers underneath of it, and this pair of pants, I actually forgot to take my bibs in late season this past year, and it would have been February, and it was in the 20s. I almost turned around and went out. I said, I'm gonna heck with it. Let's try it, see what happens. And I made it 3 hours, and don't get me wrong, I was cold, but it wasn't unbearable to where I was like, having to get down, couldn't feel my legs.
Right.
My legs stay fairly warm anyways. Now here's another one. Once again, a lot of research on this. And I'm a bang for buck kind of guy. There are other options out there that probably are as good, if not better, but this is better than any other piece that I have owned up to this point. And this Columbia soft shell Ascender, I went with the hooded version. They make one that's not hooded. This comes in handy when it's raining. It keeps the rain off of this Klamath hoodie from going down my neck, but you can't hear out of it, and I don't like that. But it is really thin material, and it another thing, I know this is very minimal, but when you go to slide it on over another garment, it doesn't pull your sleeves up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it allows you to move inside very...
That's important for a bow hunter.
100%, yeah. But it was cheap. I believe it was $75, and with my base layer, that Klamath hoodie, and this, it takes me down to like 30 degrees. The only time I have a Woodbury jacket from First Light, but it's kind of bulky and it's puffy. So if I have real long sits in the late season, I'll throw that on, or I'll actually carry it out because it's too warm.
Yeah.
But this will take me, deep into the cold. So
Seems pretty quiet too.
Yeah.
it's extremely quiet. And I go with I think that's called the is it dry earth?
earth or
Okay,
something.
dry earth. But if you rub it against each other, it isn't loud. But the wind cutting and weather resistant, rain resistant, which it's more waterproof than anything I've worn. So
That's a nice piece.
it
That's
is
interesting,
for the
yeah.
price. I don't think it can be beat for the price, bang for buck, and that's my gear.
I'm with you. I mean, I'm like Merino Wool's #1 fan. Like, I wish I was just listening to the Meat Eater podcast, and Ryan Callahan's a big Merino Wool guy too. And Steve was like, "Right, Cal, you'll appreciate this. There's a guy making Band-Aids out of Merino Wool.
Why?
It's antimicrobial.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, that's like the most genius thing ever. And I was
Are they
just telling
expensive
you,
Band-Aids?
probably,
I'd imagine so.
but I was just telling him, like, I wish my bed sheets were made out of Merino Wool.
Oh, gosh, me too.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah,
It's like the best weather or temperature regulating material there is.
Yeah.
You'd never have to wash them because they don't stink.
They were explained to me as the miracle fabric.
Yeah.
And, I'm always skeptical when I hear anything, somebody talking about someone else or this product is
Game changer.
You said it. You said it. I didn't. But when I hear that, I'm always a skeptic,
Yeah.
right? And I am embarrassed that I didn't, bite the bullet and buy it sooner. I'm upset with myself as well that I didn't bite the bullet and do it sooner. And I don't know. I never went out there in just Merino Wool alone. I've never went out there with just this Klamath alone. I have worn this jacket with a cotton T-shirt underneath when it was raining, and it didn't work. It wasn't warm. Do you know what I mean? It kept the wind off me and so on and so forth. But I think it's all these things coming into the recipe that make a great,
Yeah, it's a system.
Yes.
That's like Sitka is so like adamant on like it's a layering system. First Light's the same way. It's a layering system. One piece without the other isn't that miracle
right.
unless you put them together. And I mean, like I said, I'm with you. I think how do we want to categorize it? Like premium hunting gear
Yeah, it's definitely premium. Yeah, it's
Is-
definitely premium.
worth it because if it helps you stay in the woods longer with more confidence that you're not sitting there thinking like, oh man, I'm cold, I'm gonna get wet if it rains. You're thinking about hunting and that's it.
Comfortable too.
Yeah.
And not, I
Not
used to be a
moving around.
marshmallow. I'm a big guy as it is, right? Like I got a belly on me and stuff, and hunting out of a saddle, when you have your bridge coming up, if I have layers of jackets on,
You can't move.
and I have a hard time
Just
as
gets,
it
like,
is.
bunched up and- yeah.
Imagine having a belly, Chad, with all that bunch up. Okay, it is tough. So having this thin gear that is movable, breathable, or weather resistant, and maintaining that heat, that you need to have to be able to stay out there is just, and it's better than that big puffy stuff.
Yeah. What I like about what you have here is, the non-hunting. Like you found
Yeah.
other variations of like a branded hunting apparel company would put out in a non, and you probably got more for your dollar, like
Oh,
dollar
hell
for
yeah.
dollar, with the Columbia and those I'm telling you, those Wrangler ATGs or whatever they are, like
Yes.
they're one of the best pants that I've ever purchased.
I
Dude, like
agree.
$25.
And listen to this. So if you live in this area, Northeast Ohio, Western PA, you go to the Grove City outlets and go to the Vanity Fair, Wrangler, their discount store. I got those babies for $16.
Really,
I bought like 5 pairs.
I would too.
Yeah, they're great. This
Bang
whole
for
system.
buck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
think
you
they
can't
can
buy a
be beat.
$20 pair of pants and have it be any better.
No.
That's yeah, I'm 1000% with you. I'd say this system, Merino Wool, non-hunting technical gear, all of it gear. for me, 1,000%.
Yeah, me too.
100%.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, you want me to take it away?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Your
So-
last one left.
I want to preface this by saying that I don't necessarily think that this is a gadget. I just think there's better alternatives. But I'm bringing this to the table presented as a gadget. Okay? Make sense?
Yeah, I'm following. Whoa.
Rubber boots. Rubber boots for whitetail bow hunters. And my whole life growing up, my dad's like, if you're going to bow hunt, you need rubber boots. They're scent free. You need rubber boots. I just think the way that these are built, they're so uncomfortable. And I just think the way that they're kind of marketed as being scent free and like the bow hunter's boot is just false. Like, I don't think they still stink inside. And where do you think that air goes?
Yep.
It comes out of it. There's nothing. I mean, we talk about it all the time in scent control and all that. There's nothing that's scent free. If you walk on the ground, you're walking. You're leaving scent no matter what. So the idea that these are the bow hunter's boot because they're scent free, I think you're really, really hurting yourself
You're
by,
wrong.
by wearing these.
It's a marketing
Yeah.
term, marketing gimmick, marketing
Yeah, I think
cliche.
So just 2 years ago, when I went to Colorado, get these out of my way, I bought my first pair of mountain boots, and because I had to wear them out west. Because if you're walking anywhere, these will tear
Yeah.
your feet
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, your feet are sliding back and forth. They don't regulate temperature or moisture at all.
Yeah, they just hold everything in, and you just get tore up. So I had to buy a pair for that, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna wear these around. They're comfortable. Whitetail season comes around. I never put these on, and they're the boots that I had were Zamberlins, and they were 400 gram insulate. I wore them through the entire season.
They keep you as warm as a rubber.
Yeah, because what I think happens, and I don't have any science to back this up, but I think these are 1,000 gram or 1,200 gram insulate, and I think they are way over insulated, and you're getting cold because you're sweating. And they're
I
not
agree with that
breathing.
100%.
You don't need 1,000 gram insulate if you have the right boot and the right sock.
Socks are a big deal.
Yeah.
I
Like
agree,
giant
100%.
deal.
Merino wool. We're back to merino wool, but merino wool socks with a good breathable boot, your feet will stay warmer than in 1,000 gram insulate
I agree. with
rubber
that.
boot, and you'll be way more comfortable. So, yeah, I'm pretty short for me, but I just think, like, if you're a bow hunter, whitetail bow hunter, and you think, like, my feet are so uncomfortable, but I gotta wear rubbers because they're scent free.
They're not scent free. I used to believe that. Now I know this isn't an opinion. This is a no. This is a fact. We have a tracking dog, Remy, and she'll follow us out on our out trail after she has already done her track. And she'll follow her trail out because she knows it always goes to the truck. This is her third year, and she's lost her interest in doing fake, dummy tracks. But my eyes have been open to scent control and
Right.
all that is, if a dog that has, I can't give you the exact numbers, but a set amount of olfactory glands, and a whitetail's is actually more,
Right.
you're not fooling his nose.
Yep.
Yeah, you
Not
can't
in
do
that
it.
regard.
Yeah.
Not in that regard. There's other ways, that's a whole nother podcast, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you're just selling yourself short.
So I agree 100% with everything that you said on rubber boots. I have the same exact opinion. I have a pair, don't hardly ever use them. In fact, I'm running a hiking boot that has 200 grams of insulate, so less than what you have, and that gets me through pretty much the entire season. Now, I will double up socks when it's below 25-ish.
Yeah.
But with those rubber boots, like, where would that be? Like, when would you use them?
Never.
Never.
I don't. Yeah.
So
I don't-
you would rather have, like, if you're walking through wet terrain, river bottom, swamp ground, you would rather wear those Zamberlins and maybe get wet feet and deal with the wet feet over the rubber boots?
I'll bring gaiters.
Really?
If I know that I'm going through somewhere high, I'll wear high gaiters or I'll wear hip waders. I'm not wearing rubber boots. They are so uncomfortable. My heels, man, I'm bleeding through the socks.
Do you think that's a product of the boot though, not fitting your foot?
every rubber
Really?
boot I've ever worn, that it gets like right where the heel goes around, you can feel like a wire or something in there, and it's like rubs up against my feet
Back of your heel.
Yeah.
I get that sometimes.
every time. Or they don't last, they rip right there. I don't wear them. These, I don't even know why they're here, honestly.
To talk about them.
They're probably here because I haven't worn them. That's why they're at work.
I personally feel like there's a place for them.
I do too.
You know, I'm say our new property, for example, is a really wet property, or one of the public lands in Pennsylvania. I know if I'm going there, I'm generally crossing at least a creek that sometimes, like if I miss the high spot, you know, it's going over the boot. If I'm wearing my hiking boots in, I'm guaranteed. Now, early season, you know, say that creek crossing, for example, it's not a creek, it's actually like a washout, like where all this nasty wet mud, and it's like a swampy area. And I get across it, no one else does it. I don't think so, at least. But if I'm wearing my hiking boots, you know, they'll fill up with water, and I can handle that early season if my feet are wet. I'll take them home, put them on the boot dryer, you know. But when it's, you know, getting down to 30 degrees, 40 degrees, it's pretty rough to sit that evening with wet feet.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I have gaiters that solve that problem. They're higher than rubber boots. My gaiters come up to my knees, and they're way more comfortable, and I don't sweat in them.
I have a pair of gaiters, but I've just bought them in the last couple months. I haven't used them yet.
I got the Outdoor Vision gaiters, and they're really, really high. So, yeah, you just strap those over top of your boot, and if you don't want to wear them the whole hunt, you can just take them off. after
Water
you
doesn't
cross.
come, like, up through?
No, they're tight. Yeah.
Okay. I don't understand the full concept behind gaiters. I assume that was to keep brush
It's
or,
just
like,
this upper.
ticks, you know, out.
It's just the upper, pretty much.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. If you don't have gaiters, try them out. I think they're just a way better option than
Maybe
dealing
I'll
with
try
them.
yours out before I buy some.
They probably won't fit you. But here, I'll present an alternative. Because going from rubber boots to something else, I think if you don't buy a good pair of boots, I think you're still going to be in a bad position. I think you need
Agreed.
quality, well-built boots that are breathable. That's the big thing. They have to be breathable. So for your feet not to get all sweated up. These are the crispy guides. They're a little bit higher than something that Chad likes to run, but I have bad ankles and I like the high ankle sport. But if I put those gaiters on, they come up to here. So there's nothing getting
Like right
through.
below the knee?
Yeah. So there's nothing getting through that.
Those ones don't smell nearly as bad as those rubber boots.
I'm
I
sure.
just, there's air
Yeah.
coming through. I can smell.
Yeah, it's like, I think,
Your feet just don't sweat in that style boot like they do rubber boots.
and that's where you get cold. Everyone talks
Yes.
about their upper body. If you get sweated up, you're going to be cold.
Same
but no one
thing.
talks about their feet.
Yep.
So, and another quick tip, if you get cold feet, another shout out to Byron Horton. Take a wool sock and stick it over the
Yep.
toe. And he seems to think that that's like the best way to keep your feet warm. There's nothing cold touching where your feet come in contact with your stand or whatever. So, yeah, that's it for me. Rubber boots. It's not a gadget. There is a place for them, like on the farm, doing yard work. But for a whitetail bow hunter, I think you can really hurt yourself by buying into the scent-free, has to be rubber boot gimmick. So for me, I'm just gonna, for purpose of this video, gadget.
So if you would rate the usefulness of rubber boots in general, not maybe the specific brand or specific pair, like where would you, like 1 to 10, where
For
would
what
you?
use case? For bow hunting?
Yeah,
3.
that's pretty low. All right.
What about you?
I'm torn because I know, like, if I'm going into a swamp, I'm going to wear rubber boots. Like, that's just, and I don't like to wear them.
Bow in swamps.
Yeah, I don't like hunting swamps either. But, or in the snow, like I know there's deep snow, because I don't, again, like I didn't have a pair of gaiters before, never had a use for them. Now that I have them, I still haven't used them. Like even in this past season, like tracking those couple does or whatever, like I just threw my rubber boots on, slide them on real quick. It's a little easier to put on. I'm kind of lazy. So I'm like, But I agree with every single point that you made. So I'm gonna say it's a piece of gear because I know it has a use case. But 1 to 10 usefulness, like I'm probably gonna put it at a 4.
Ooh.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Dan?
I'm gonna call it gear, and I'm gonna give it a higher score, around 7, because I have worn my hiking boots, which are not Crispies. They are a cheap pair of hiking boots. Okay. However, they are only 8-inch boots, and I can put I don't know what size my Lacrosse are, but I can put those on and I can trudge through so much more water without my feet getting wet. Do I like wearing those all year? Heck no. Are they comfortable? No. But they do have their place in my arsenal. They're not a one size fits all. They're not an all year kind of thing, because if I were to wear them early season, most certainly my feet would sweat. I'd be uncomfortable. My feet would be garbage by the end of the year. But they do have their place in my tool of
That's fair.
tricks.
Yeah.
That's fair. Now, one last question before we wrap this up. How long have you had those boots? How often do you have to replace them?
The Lacrosse, this is if I wear them this year, it's my 4th year actually. It's the longest pair of
Jeez.
boots. My mucks last me, I'm not gear bashing. I want to make that very clear. I'd have no affiliation with anybody at all whatsoever. I'm talking uncandidly, but I have a pair of Lacrosse Alpha Burleys that I bought 3 years ago. So if I wear them this year, which I'm not planning on it, they are starting to show cracks. What?
Why wouldn't you wear them if they have a place?
Because they're
in
starting to show cracks,
Okay.
and I know that I'm going
okay.
to be out there and just really
Gotcha.
upset. So I, like with the way everything's going, I know to order everything way in advance
Oh, yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
So I am going to probably wear them some for turkey season and see how they're doing. I wore them out, trimming, cutting trees, and that's definitely not a good boot to be wearing for that, because all the saw chips
Gets
fell down
out
in
some.
them, and honestly, between the saw chips in them and the signs of surface cracking, I think it's about time for another pair of boots. And they smell like, a locker room.
Yeah.
They smell pretty bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's fair. This is a good example of how all 3 of our hunting styles differ and where one piece might fall into someone's better than others. But with that, give us a thumbs up and a like. Go check out Dan on Instagram. Dan, what's your Instagram handle?
At Dan Baez.
Go check him out, and we'll see you next time.